Hey, pod people, I'm Joe.
And I'm Kel, and this is Cosmic Connections 101. Today, we are talking about self love and self care. And for me personally, it's popping up a little bit in the past couple of days. I mean, always for me, that is a focus, but I'm finding externally that other people are really stepping into that self love and prioritizing their health and self care. And so, Joe, you're actually on this path yourself, aren't you? With changing up all of your eating habits and everything. And it's like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's such a good thing. I'm so proud of you.
it's pretty different. Yeah, it takes, obviously it's years and years of different types of self-care, but like I said, I think we should, like I kind of forget. Oh, you can see the blue thing from my light. Look, dude,
Well,
can you
I'm
see?
just admiring your skin, like right
Oh,
now. I think
really?
it's
I
really
need to
beautiful. You can tell
block
that
this.
whatever you're doing is working.
All right, thank you. Well, we can get into that. Did that work? Yep. We can get into that stuff a bit later, but I thought like easy ones to start with, like when people start their little journey, you don't realize straight away that it is self-care or self-love that you're actually stepping into. Like when you start opening up to the spiritual world, it's like you're at the center and it's expressing everything from your heart and
Yeah.
letting that
And
come back in.
learning how to set boundaries, which is a massive thing for a lot of people who are starting their spiritual journey, because that is the way that we protect our energy and just prioritize ourselves. And I mean, it's definitely a hard one setting up boundaries, but it gets easier over time. But that to me is a massive display of self love.
Yeah, the way that I first actually got into it was as soon as I had Kiara, like obviously first child, only child, but I always used to make it a priority then, like to make sure that I spend time away and just put my interests first
Yeah.
because I didn't want to lose myself. Because you would see it in our family, what would happen is the women just dedicate all their time, love, energy into raising the kids. And then I would always hear mum go, oh, I wish I could have traveled and done this. Not that I regret having you kids. You're the best
Yeah.
things ever. But, and I'm like, well, I didn't want to have anything to look back on and go, oh, I wish I could have, should have. So, like, the family was good in encouraging us to make sure that we put our own needs first as well. Because if you can't look after yourself, you can't look after other people.
Yeah, and I feel like that was such a positive thing growing up with mum as our mum, because
Mm-hmm.
there was never any shame or guilt around us needing a timeout or choosing ourselves first in instances where you really just need to look after yourself. Because if you're not present as a mother, it's not, yeah, you're not helping anybody, you're not helping yourself,
Energy.
you're not helping your child. So
That's right.
yeah,
The kids feel the energy. If you're down, if you're not yourself, they feel it anyway. So even if you're trying to pretend, oh yeah, no, I'm good. Nah,
no,
they know.
exactly. And for me, it's always been the gym, it's always that's always been the thing that I prioritize over most other things. Like
Everything.
every single, yeah, 6 days a week I'm in the gym because it's, good for my mental health, and just that's the way that I've always, like, everybody who knows me knows that about me.
I was
And
going to say, even from when you were really young and we didn't even know what this self care was. Like, I remember, well, there's 9 years between us. I remember maybe I was, I don't know, you would have been like 7 or 8.
mm,
And I still remember, man, like, we had the bunk beds. I had the double at the bottom. I
yeah,
remember laying in bed and you're at the little mirror that I had, the cane mirror with the sunflowers, and you're doing like facials and
skincare
you're
routine.
doing your skincare routine after you'd already been, out jogging and doing your fitness for softball. And I'm just watching you and I'm like reading a book and I'm like, what are you doing? Like
Yeah.
you're a kid. You
And
don't,
because I
and you,
didn't have acne or anything, it
nope,
was just like
nope.
I knew that this makes me feel good and
Yeah,
I
and that's what you'd
like
say. You're
doing
like,
it.
you're like, oh, well, Jody, you really need to look after your skin, you know. It's the only skin you have, and you need to moisturize and you need to do. And I'm like, how do you even know? Like,
Yeah,
you
and I
just
don't
knew.
know how I knew. Yeah.
Yeah, you just knew. Like,
It's
because
not
mum
like
didn't
anyone
really have a
really
routine.
taught me. Yeah, like maybe I just
No,
read it in a magazine or something. I don't know.
no,
But I mean,
we didn't.
self-care and self-love has always come so easily to me. And
For
I
you,
know that it
yes.
is part of the reason why I'm here. Like, I'm here to help people know their worth and open up their heart chakra and live from their heart space. And to me, it all comes back to self-love. And yeah, I'm grateful that I am easily able to tap into that, because hopefully, you know, I can help you and other people be able to do the same. And it's not coming from a position of ego or anything like that.
No, you've always just loved who you are. Like, you just
Yeah.
knew. And I always used to be like, fuck, how does she even, like, how do you even know? And like you said, it's like when you're little, like everyone used to be like, oh, you know, stuck up. But it's like, no, you actually just knew your value, like
Yeah, that
straight away.
people like, you know, just because where we grew up and everything, like the way that I speak as well, I would get teased
Westies.
about how I
Yeah.
speak,
You're
you know,
like,
I'm
you're
just like
so
more,
proper. Like,
yeah, like well spoken and whatever. And yeah, I would get teased about being posh and whatever. But it's like I've always just had that kind of inner confidence and held myself in a certain way. Doesn't matter where we grew up or whatever, it's just always been a thing for me where I just have always had that inner love for myself.
yeah, and you still have, and you like have shown me many different ways. Like, you know, I didn't realize still I'm 47 and I've just only really started doing a skin routine
Oh God.
because you and Kiara on me.
No, you've
Because,
been good for the past like 12 months,
well,
you
yeah,
know,
like I've just started when I turned 47 in
yeah.
October. Or maybe I started a couple of weeks before it because I was getting like really dry. It's like, see, when it's
Yeah.
like,
So you know about
I'm like,
hyaluronic acid now
yeah,
and
now
all
I'm
the
like, Kiara,
vitamin
Kel, what do I
C.
do here? But yeah, it was like, but yeah, since like last year, because that's when I really shifted my stuff into a new direction. Because obviously I have been doing some self care and self love over the years, but now as you do more healing on yourself, it like amps up, amps up, amps up. But yours has always been like at a really high level. Like, I feel like I'm only just now 100% my priority.
Yeah. And I
It
feel
takes
like,
time.
you know, if that is displayed in our human design, you know, for you, that is something in your human design that is, I'll say, a challenge for you. I don't want to say
Self
lacking,
worth.
but it's
It's a
definitely,
barrier.
yeah, like it's a barrier. Exactly. And so for me, in my human design, it's the opposite.
No
And
shit.
that's why, yeah, for me, it's always just been something that's come so easily to me. And the reason for that is like, yeah, because I'm here to help people with that, to raise the consciousness and to expand people's heart chakra and heart space. Like, I've known that for a while now, and I don't know why I know that. I just do. And so now I just own that. And I'm like, okay, this is why I'm here. I'm here to teach people about the importance of self-love, because we know that how you feel internally is reflected in your outside world. All of the things that are happening around you are just a mirror of your internal world. So if you're not expressing and living love, then you're going to have chaos all around you. And
Yeah, it's
obviously,
energy.
yeah, if it's like peace and loving on the inside, that's how the outside world will be. And of course, you
100%.
know, the way we interact with other people, we're energetic beings. So when we come into path of somebody else, you know, our energy impacts them and vice versa. So it's just really like, imagine if everybody in the whole world had this feeling of love and compassion for
Gratitude,
themselves. Yeah, how much
kindness.
yeah, of a beautiful place it would be. So, you know, like that's my ideal kind of thing, is to help spread that, because where you go with this energy, it's contagious.
Yeah, it changes the vibration of just your space. And then obviously if it's doing that, it's around the whole consciousness of the globe. So even like simple things, like I remember when I really started, not even just the spiritual journey, when I really wanted to start taking care of myself, the first thing I did was like, okay, I need to be proactive. So first and foremost, I just went and got blood tests. And I went to my doctor and I'm like, I want to be in prevention mode. Like I want to be in wellness. I don't want to be in sickness. So can I please have a blood test? And when I first moved here, I asked him, the doctor was like, oh, what's wrong? Like, what's been going on? I said, no, nothing's wrong. I want to check all my levels. And they were shocked
Yeah.
because
Well,
they're
in
like,
Sydney, that's such a normal thing to be proactive around your health.
yeah,
But
no.
in a regional city, it's like, well, what's
Yep,
up?
it's you're only getting bloods done because they want to check because something doesn't sound right. Whereas, yeah, I'm proactive. Me and Kiara, we get them done every year, and then because I always know what my levels are, and then it impacts your hormones, your fit, like it impacts everything. So if we don't, it's kind of like you're already working from an empty pit. If you don't know what vitamins, what nutrients, what minerals, just to get you on balance, you're already behind the eight ball, and that's the biggest thing that I've found. So for me, that was where it first started. And then it was, you'd get, when you have a job, if you've got disposable money, then you can go get massages and chiro and, take yourself to the movies or get your nails done or get a haircut or different things that like really make you feel good. And
Yeah.
that's what it's about. If you're changing your energy, you're giving yourself more love and compassion.
It's funny because just yesterday I did a video on my Instagram about self-love,
All
and
right.
the fact that you said, like the go to the movies and massage and all of that. The thing that I said for me that helps me align with self-love is discipline.
Oh, of course you did. Fucking
So
hell.
I'm like,
Discipline and lists.
I even said, yeah, in the video, like, that often people
Organization.
think that a mani and a pedi and binge eating is a form of self-care. But for me, it comes from that delayed gratification of when you make a promise to yourself and you follow through with it. Because if we make a promise to ourselves and in the back of our mind know like, oh, I'm probably really not going to stick to this, like
That's
you're
me.
just letting yourself down. Yeah, like
Yep.
that inner voice,
You
it's
don't feel
kind
worth
of,
it.
yeah, exactly, it's kind of like dealing with your inner child in a way, where it's like you're not doing what you said you were going to do and you're letting yourself down, you're disappointing yourself. So if your own internal monologue is doing that to yourself, that is just a bad cycle to get into. And so for me, when it comes to discipline, obviously for me, that displays in the gym and with my eating and even my skincare routines and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, very structured.
yeah, like I'm very just that by that way, always have been naturally. And I do, bring it down to me being a Capricorn because that is just part of our makeup of being really disciplined. But to me, it's just like, if you break a promise to yourself and you're okay with that, that kind of gives you a subconscious permission for other people to let you down too, and to break promises. And so for me, it's like, yeah, it's actually a bit more deeper than just, okay, I said I'm going to eat healthy this week and I'm not really going to. And,
Yeah,
like
it
the
comes back to the
shortcuts you give.
self-worth.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's the thing. It's like you're coming from the perspective of like you've already had self-worth, like it's not really a big deal to you. Whereas I'm going to assume 90% of the world are not like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like,
Well,
that's
that's
why when
why
you would say
yeah,
stuff
that's why I'm
about,
here is to help
yeah, because you've
people. Yeah.
got like one perspective, I've got another, but it's like exactly aligned. It's just we get to things at different places. So at the beginning, it's like, yeah, you do all these things. Now I do lots of stuff that's like no money is involved at all. It's like I don't have to spend money to show myself love and care. Like it could be, see, I'm not really a bath person. So lots of people say, oh, take a nice bath and have wine and
Yeah.
music. See, that shit doesn't appeal to me at all. So for me, it's like no TV, no phones, just read half an hour before I go to bed. Like that's luxury to me.
Yeah.
Just in bed, nice and cozy. So it's like you got to find all the little ways that make you feel like just spark your own inner peace and happiness.
Yeah, exactly. And
There's so
like you
much,
said,
so many ways to do
it
it.
doesn't have to cost anything and it doesn't have to be like a big deal where you're taking yourself out to like a live music show or something like that. It can literally be just putting on your favorite trash TV and
Oh yeah.
watching,
What
Real
could that be?
Housewives of New Jersey.
Any housewife, any location.
Yeah.
We're
So
all
for
about it.
me, I've always been an active person for my whole life. So to me, that is my fun. I know it kind of sounds so dorky to a lot of people, but
She's telling the truth. It's literally how she has fun.
yeah, like if I wasn't doing
And
this right
de-stress.
now, I would be in the gym. Actually, I
You
was asked
probably
if I wanted to do a Pilates class tonight, but I'm like, oh, I'm doing my podcast. So, I
and
would
you're
have been
just
doing that.
torn inside. Look at you.
Yeah, I would have been doing that had I not been
But
already.
see,
Yes.
that's another one. It's the movement. It's just like nurturing yourself. Like you just find it really easy to do that. You see the benefits of because it makes you feel good.
Yeah,
Like
because for
you
me,
definitely
it's
like
moving the energy, the trapped
100%.
energy in my body and having an outlet. Because if we're just stuck in that like energy, it festers. And if we don't have a way to move it through our body, it just the way because I envision it as like a gray cloud if you're not moving it through. Like when I'm exercising and moving it through, it brings all like different colors back into my body, like your aura and stuff like that. But if you're stagnant, it's kind of like muddy water. So that's the way that I see it. I mean, it's like
So
I
they call
because
that
I've always,
they
yeah.
call it somatic healing. So
Oh,
it's when
right.
you've got to you got to move your body to move out the energy because a lot of your emotions and childhood trauma and just different PTSD stuff gets stuck in your body. So the
Yeah.
only way to get rid of it is to literally shake it out, move it
Yeah.
out,
And other ways to do
process
that
it.
is dance as well. Yeah,
100%.
that's a
So,
perfect way. And that's free too. Just chuck on your
oh
Spotify
yeah,
playlist, 2000
getting ready in the
club hits.
morning, head banging in the car, like you know how it goes. But there's multiple different ways of people to just even if people struggle a little bit because they feel it's selfish, but
Yeah,
it really isn't.
mom
Yeah.
guilt.
Yeah. It's like
Not,
it's all
it's,
these
yeah.
things that happen, but it's
We
it's
need to get
nothing to
out
do
of
with that.
we need to get out of that mindset and women also perpetuating that onto other women that you should be doing this or you should be
Yeah.
doing that, whatever. It's like,
Or
no,
the
we
judgment.
are moms, yes, but we are ourselves first. So you need to
100%.
prioritize your own mental health, physical health, and spiritual health if you're going to be of benefit to anybody. You're not going to
That's
be a
right.
good partner or mother or friend if you are feeling horrible about yourself. So
Yeah,
yeah.
you got to look after your well-being. And I think of self-care, self-love. It's just like literally the process of self-compassion, self-forgiveness, learning to be your authentic self. Like you're giving yourself time and space away from all the noise to really listen to the silence and to get to know yourself again because you put labels and identities on yourself or people put it on you and then you kind of get lost in, oh shit, who am I? What am I?
That's
And you
such a
just
good
become the
point,
label.
because when you're in a relationship, like if anyone else is like me in my past relationships, you tend to just lose yourself in the relationship and become the nurturer, become, the partner. And then you sort of like put your own interest to the side and become just like a shell sort of thing
It's
of
just lack of
yourself.
boundaries, which is what
Yeah,
you talked about
exactly.
earlier. But we don't know that's what it is to start with. We think we're, putting 100% commitment into making relationships work. But then later on, we realized, oh, wait, if I'm giving up 100% of myself to make sure it's working, that's never going to help anyone.
Yeah.
It's a balance. So
And
you've got to
it's
keep
like,
your own boundaries.
yeah, and if you're putting in all of that effort, your partner doesn't have to meet you
Isn't.
halfway then. So you're giving and giving, and then you kind of just expend all of your energy in being a
Correct.
people pleaser, essentially, being the
Yeah.
perfect partner, the mother, the wife, all of that. So that's why, like, obviously, as a partner and a mother, we want to be the best version of ourselves. But in order to do that, you really need to look after yourself. And, another way that I practice self-care is I go out for my bay walk or I'll go to the national park and just be out in nature. And to me, that, like, I don't actually want company when I go onto my nature walks and stuff like that, because it is really a self-care thing for me. And like, I'm so glad I found my bay walk when I did, because it was during COVID lockdowns. And so with me not having access to a gym, it was really like messing with me. And I was kind of like going a bit crazy. Like I really felt out of sorts, because for me the gym was always how I like got out my
de-stress.
frustration and like just all of my anxiety. So when that was taken away from me, I did get a bit scared, because I was like, am I going to be okay? Like, what happens if I have a panic attack? What do I do?
You use it as self-regulation. So
Yeah.
that's what we're all trying to do with all these self-care practices, is bring it back into ourself, which is calming our nervous system.
And that's why it's good to have multiple outlets, because when one's taken away from you unexpectedly, you need to have other things that help
like
you.
going for a walk.
But for me, it's like, okay, it's coming into winter. I have a time frame of when I can get to my bay walk after work before the sun goes down. So I'll just go to the gym, even though I'd rather just do cardio, like walking at like the bay. It's not realistic. So you need a backup plan and all of that.
Yeah, 100%. Totally.
And then winter is like actually a perfect time to practice self-care and self-love, because you just want to cozy up and really nurture yourself and take care of yourself. And really, like, a lot of people pay attention to their skin in winter because it gets dry. Yeah, and
that's when I started to pay attention.
Yeah, of course. So it's just like winter gives that nurture vibe, really. Maybe that's why I'm feeling all of the self-love energy at the moment, because it's coming into that kind of weather.
Change of the season is more like winter brings more darkness and coldness. So you're kind of coming in and giving yourself hugs and cuddles. And that's when, like, the food in particular, like you want warm, cozy, yummy food, which doesn't always necessarily mean healthy.
No, exactly.
Everyone thinks hot chips and gravy. Oh my God.
Oh,
but
God.
See,
baked dinners and all of that kind of home.
Yeah, which I actually made for myself last night.
Oh, you did? I'm having pumpkin soup tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make her soup. See, the problem is Kiara doesn't, even though she's trying to reintroduce meat into her world, she's still not there. And I'm kind of thinking, because the doctors were like, oh, you really need to have more iron. I'm like, oh, I can't just imagine having meat every day. Like, it just doesn't sit good. And that's the other thing. So stuff can be recommended, but you need to see what works best for you.
Yeah.
So and where you're feeling.
Meat has such like a deeper impact for people who are more empaths and on their spiritual journey, because it takes on the energy of the animal. So that there's a whole other podcast that we can talk about with that. The energetics of it all, but just physically, your body works overtime to digest meat. So, if you're not feeling it, then we don't really need to eat meat every single day anyway. So it's just, about finding a balance. And I think supplements help, with all of that, obviously.
Oh God, yeah.
But it's so amazing that you are proactive with helping Kiara along her because she's quite a picky eater and all of this, so you're helping
needs a different
helping her to regulate all of her stuff too, and to make sure that she's practicing self-care.
Well, she's actually the one who taught me about mindful eating.
Yeah, good.
Really little. She was the one. Remember, even when you've watched her, Mum watched her when she was younger, and she'd always like want fruit right before she's gonna go to sleep.
Go to bed.
And Mum would always go, oh, she's trying to get out of going to sleep at this time. And I'm like, no, she knows her body. Like, if she needs to eat something to sleep, I let her. I go, because it's not like she's, eating chocolates or whatever. I mean, she does that now, but when she was younger, she just wanted fruit because her body needed that to rest.
And she was a grazer too. She would just
graze
little things.
She wouldn't have
none of this 3 big meals a day.
Oh, no.
It's like whatever works for you.
Yeah, and so I used to say, trust your body. You know what you're feeling. I don't. Just because in my head, they were like, eat everything on your plate. That's why I have issues regulating that stuff. And I went through all of those other journeys, but that's another topic. And then, so I taught her straight away, like, you know your body. If you're full, you're full. I don't care what's left. You're full. And then she figured it out. And then I learnt from her to be super mindful of that. And now my kid, mate, she'll have she's probably only eaten one proper big meal, like one meal a day.
Yeah.
And then she'll have like a half thing for breakfast, and that's it. And before, I used to get really concerned because, oh, but we're supposed to do. No,
Yeah, it's just
my
about
kid eats exactly the
unlearning.
way she's meant to.
Yeah, unlearning the habits
The
that we
narrative.
taught because it's what our parents were taught and what their parents were taught,
And even what like, when they do the recommended averages and all that for the Australian diet,
I
it's
feel
like
like we need to actually have
we
a
have a separate one for this.
podcast about that because, obviously that is a
Oh,
passion area for me is food and diet and all.
add it to our list, Kel.
Yeah, because I could really honestly talk about that for ages.
But it really is important because if we're talking
Absolutely.
self-love, self-care, like obviously that's been a massive journey for me. And now I just see it as nourishment and fuel. Whereas
Fuel.
before, like I would constantly be thinking about food. I'm like, now I don't at all because I'm just in a
You're satiated and you think
different
of food
world.
different. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it's a really amazing process to go through, but we'll definitely have a different convo on that. But I think one practice that I've been doing to help me stay connected to like my heart consciousness and self-love is I do this. I think I got it first off Spirit Science. Is that remember
Yeah.
that little
YouTube.
thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I
fella that we
forgot
found a
about.
million years ago.
I love them. I need to start
Right?
looking again. I love their
Spirit
stuff.
Science. Yeah, so he's always had mad stuff on there. And I remember just coming
Jordan.
across something, yeah, because he made some, remember the little animation things for Teal Swan, and
Yeah,
that's how we
that's
done
how
the
we found.
crossover.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, I just
So go back and have a look at him. But
forgot.
yeah, there was this one little practice that he used to do, and then I've morphed it to make it mine. So what I do in the morning or when I remember like some part of the day is I find it helpful to actually put my hand on my heart and do it because I'm more of a visual and you want to feel the pressure. And then I just take like 3 deep breaths and I just say, I am safe. And then I say that 3 times and then do another breath. And then I'll go, I am valued. I'm honored. I'm loved. I feel grateful, or whatever stuff that I want to say that day.
Yeah.
And then I can feel the shift in my heart. Like it feels like gets warmer and it expands. And so like I just practice doing that. And it's just like a little thing for myself, but also like after you do it for a little bit, you actually believe it and you can physically feel it in your body.
Yeah.
So like, people will try mirror work and all that. If that stuff doesn't work, because it is a bit confronting to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. I love you.
Yeah.
Because you're just like, oh, whatever. I don't really love
You
you.
don't believe it.
Yeah. So like I try that. So do you do any sort of ritual stuff for
I
you?
was
Because
just
you just love
gonna
yourself
say,
anyway.
yeah, I was just gonna say, like, because
Every day.
I
Look at
really,
me.
yeah, I haven't ever had to do stuff like that because innately I
You
have
just love yourself.
such love. Like, if anything, I'm more cocky. I'm just like if I see myself in the mirror in the morning, I'm like,
You're like, oh
yeah,
God, you look
so
good.
good, girl.
Yeah, I know. I
But like
know.
I don't have these kind of affirmations and stuff like that because I just yeah, like I just I know this stuff about myself. I'm not even gonna say I believe, like I know
Yeah.
this stuff about myself,
Yeah,
and I
you're already
just have
blessed with the knowledge and you
yeah. But
feel
I
it.
just
You've always
have
known.
I really loved hearing you say that because it's such a good way for other people to be able to incorporate that. Like even before you get out of bed, literally just lay in bed with your hand on your chest and say all of these things about what an amazing person you are and how much you love yourself, and before you start your day, because that's putting yourself in that headspace of self-love and gratitude. I
And
love
then and then what it also does is later on when we do like my Dr. Joe Dispenza chat about, epigenetics and
yeah,
neuroplasticity and stuff, you're actually changing your brain neurons and stuff. So you're changing your pathways.
yeah,
So what we automatically, like you just automatically have a process that you get up, you go to the gym, you've got all this stuff
yeah.
is
I
structured
set
for
my
you,
mind for success.
right? Your
Yeah,
your pathways are chinging all the time because that's what it knows. Like when we're trying to redirect it and set a new pathway or a new belief,
yeah.
this is what we have to do. We have to change the pathways. So
And
we have to do it
that
by
comes with
repeated.
emotion too. Like you have to
Correct.
see
You got
it,
to let
but
go.
feel it.
Yeah.
And that's how you,
See it and manifest that it's the
yeah, that's
truth,
how
not
it
just
comes
second
into
guess it.
reality. Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, we need to talk about that actually. because
Yeah, it's on the list.
I didn't realize that it was called that. What did you say?
Yeah.
Epigenetics?
Oh yeah, that's part of the, when the intergenerational trauma and all that stuff. So it's all of that DNA stuff linked in. But the Dr. Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton, they're my two favorites. They're always doing brain stuff. It's amazing. Like, we can talk about that in another one because you'd love
Yeah,
it. Like,
100%.
it's
Because
super
I'm all
super
about
interesting.
that. But
Yeah,
for me
and
as
so
well,
when you
uh,
start your journey, you just go, oh yeah, I've just got to try and love myself, and it just doesn't
it
feel
doesn't feel real. Yeah, like it's like that's what I was gonna say. Like, I really do value the importance of affirmations and not just like, it's not just a throwaway thing. Like I used to have affirmations up around my apartment. I used to have them up at my work desk. Because seeing these things every single day, like you said, Joe, it does rewire your brain to believe that about yourself. And then you don't need that prompt anymore
prompt.
because it's just that's your reality.
Yeah, it's changed you. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that's what we want to do, is make sure people are finding their own ways to love, care, and nurture themselves, because you are a priority, and that's what you have to do for yourself, because you can't be that for anyone unless you're doing this for yourself. And like I said, it doesn't have to be things that cost money.
No.
Like I would get massages. Now I've just bought the mini massage gun, and I just do it to
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Like, and just different little things. It could be doing art, poetry, having
And
a
just
sleep
like
in,
having a
rest days,
conscious moment every single day for
checking in.
self-love. Like you don't have to embody this every single day right away, because it is, I understand, hard for some people
It's
to
a
be able to
process.
do that daily. But just one thing, like if you're having water in the morning, just hold the water and fill it with love, literally, and say, this water, when I drink it, is going to be filled with so much love, and it's going to go through my whole body, and I'm going to,
Feel nourished,
feel love and yeah, for myself today.
and
Like
my
just
energy
a
is good.
conscious thing like that, and then build it
100%.
up to be two things during the day where it's like, okay, you'll do that to your water, and before you get out of bed, do what you do, Joe, where it's like you put your hand on your heart space and say all of these things about yourself, kind, positive things, and then it just rewires you, like you said, to that is your reality now.
Yeah, I've noticed that instead of just doing it in bed now, because I've been doing, like, one of my other favorite doctors we'll get into later. I'm doing one of their meditation things in the morning. So I'm doing that, just a quick 5-minute thing. And then I notice I do my heart activation one when I'm in the car.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, nice.
like it's like the reminder, like women when you're at the red lights, Kegels. So
Yeah.
it's stuff like that, where it's just like it becomes an automatic thing
Yeah,
as part of
exactly.
your everyday.
And yeah, it's like, it's really important to incorporate that into your daily life, because if you're not loving yourself, then, it kind of makes it hard for other
For
people
other
to
people,
express love to you,
and for you to be open
to
to
receive.
allow love in. If
Exactly.
you can't love who you are, it's like, how can you allow someone else to show you love when you're just like, nah, don't believe it, da 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 da.
And it
It's
all,
a whole nother thing.
yeah, I was going to say, we're kind of like, coming to the end of this podcast, but
Whole nother thing.
it opens up a whole, yeah, a whole other topic that
That's it. So then it'll be good to
um,
hear what sort of people that have already been doing this sort of work, been practicing, what sort of stuff people have been doing, give some ideas. But you've just got to, like everything else, trust your own self. What works for you,
yeah,
and
and
it's going to change over time.
consciously do it, because if you're, yeah, like you really need to make an effort before it is like, just a natural part of your day to put these things into place of self-love, self-care, and self-regulating, and making sure that you love yourself more than anyone could ever love you.
Because you're amazing and unique. And Kel, your favorite word, you got to be disciplined to do this every day,
100%. That's
all
what
the
I'm
time.
saying. That's what I'm saying. It's the
Discipline.
key. For me, discipline is one thing. For other people, it's another thing. But it all comes back down to consistency and being disciplined, where it's like,
I think I
I'm
like
going
the
to do
word
this
consistency.
every day. Yeah, for the rest of my life, I'm going to love
Consistency.
myself more than anyone can forever.
Because I'm bloody unreal. That's
I'm worth
exactly
it.
right. That's it. Oh, well, we can leave that one there, and we've got a million other topics that we can talk about. This one's brought up a few things.
Kind of cracked open
It's supposed to be a simple one.
We can talk about.
All right, then we'll leave it there, pod people. Catch you next time.
Thank you for listening.